Hello, I am Owen Green, and this is my story of a lifelong learner. We'll begin with where I'm from. So, that picture on the left is, of course, Tucson, Arizona, which is where I was born in 2003, and I have lived here ever since. And I feel like it's played a pretty big role in who I am today. That city on the top right is Phoenix, just 2 hours north of here. I have lots of family who lived there. My grandparents both lived there for a long, long time. So I spent lots of time in Phoenix traveling for, of course, them, various other reasons, activities that I was doing that we'll get into later. So this city definitely played a role in who I am today as well. That bottom right city is Sierra Vista, which is a much smaller town, about an hour southeast of Tucson. Again, lots of family there. Even my cousin, who I'm rooming with now, lived there. And I just spent a lot of time there as well. So all three of these cities certainly played a big part in my development. And I think their location in Arizona, being so close to the border, certainly helped to inform my future decisions, be it academic or professional aspirations. So we'll start with schooling here on the left. That picture on the bottom right was my middle school, Aliceville Middle School. I attended two public elementary schools and one public middle school. And I was a part of the GATE program, GATE standing for Gifted and Talented Education, which was sort of just a higher level academic program that I think set me up well for my eventual high school, which is that left picture, being University High School. University High School is considered a college preparatory school, nationally ranked pretty well. So just pretty challenging curriculum and just high expectations, which I think certainly set me up well for my now university experience. These extracurriculars, that first one you'll see is the RSL Academy in Arizona, a soccer academy, of course, that I played in for many years. I've played soccer for as long as I can remember. And I think that certainly played a role in developing my discipline, my team building skills, and of course, my teamwork. Any team-oriented activity will certainly do that. And that last picture you see is my high school marching band. This was actually my junior year of high school. I held multiple leadership positions in my marching band. I think that certainly helped to develop my leadership, my negotiation skills, my teaching skills, mentorship. It just sort of built me as a character and all. And now we'll move on to where I am now. Of course, this first image being the University of Arizona, a great university that I decided to attend, and it was in town for me. That top right picture is actually my apartment building, saying as of just a few months ago, I moved out on my own for the first time. Well, not entirely on my own, but I moved out of the house for the first time. And that's definitely helped to develop my maturity, sort of forcing me to deal with more responsibility, be it, doing my own work and time management, or something as simple as just cooking for myself, cleaning the house, doing laundry, anything like that. That bottom right picture is, you may recognize, the University of Arizona, Pride of Arizona marching band, which, of course, any skill that I will have developed in my high school marching band, or even soccer, or even just school in general, was certainly built upon by this program. Very, very disciplined and healthy environment to grow in. Now we'll get into my major slash minor. I'm a political science major and a Spanish minor. So that first picture on the left is just kind of a general pictogram for political science and just anything in the political sphere. And we'll get into sort of what led me to that vein and why. But yeah. And then this picture on the right is, again, just a general symbol for the practice of law. And when we're looking into some of the professions that I'm thinking about, and again, the inspirations behind my degree, that'll definitely make more sense. This middle picture is just kind of a general photo representing the Spanish language, saying as it is my minor. And again, like I said earlier, I think location plays a big part of this. Growing up around so many Spanish speakers and just Spanish speakers and Hispanic culture in general certainly guided my path towards Spanish. And also, I have a particular area of interest in foreign relations, and I think being bilingual or speaking another language would be incredibly beneficial in pursuing that. So now we'll go into some of the explanation, my previous experiences sort of guiding my current path. So that picture on the left is the senior year debate project that I partook in, of course, my senior year of high school, where we each class makes their own political party, and then we have to develop a platform and legislation and all of that type of stuff, and then debate it in front of basically the entire school and the live streamed audience. And I was actually the president of my party, so that experience definitely sort of confirmed my suspicion that I was interested in headed down this path. Then we'll of course see the NPR logo, National Public Radio. Me and my family have been listening to NPR for frankly as long as I can remember. And of course, they deal with stories in the economic, political, foreign relation, global sphere in general. And their stories always inspire me, and I find a particular interest in the things that they cover. And that picture on the bottom right, it's of course a picture of the Constitution, but it's kind of just a general representation of my AP Gov class, because I did have, like I mentioned earlier, sort of a hunch that I wanted to go down this path, but I think my AP Gov class certainly confirmed that suspicion, hence why I'm where I am now. Next, we'll go into my disciplinary perspective, which I think is certainly the perspective of a social scientist. This first picture is sort of representing where my mind goes first, which is to people. I think when, especially looking at my interest in legislation building and foreign relations, I put people first, which is definitely coinciding with the perspective of a social scientist. And that picture on the bottom on the left side is, I think, a representation of what I like to consider my approaching of problems from a more global perspective. I think definitely in America, we can find ourselves in a much more westernized view of the world, or even just Americanized view of the world. And I would like to think that I can sort of move past that and look more globally. And then we have research experiences on the right, first of which depicts the southern border. I actually did a major research project on the southern border in my political science 202 class this semester. And I think that as well as just, again, location, makes some sort of research with professionals near the border incredibly appealing to me. And the bottom right is a picture of Spain, because fingers crossed, I would love to study abroad there. Of course, this would be incredibly beneficial for my Spanish minor, saying as I'd be fully immersed in a country that speaks nothing but Spanish for the most part. So yeah. Lastly, we'll go on to where I'm going. These are 3 different pictures of law schools, because after I receive my undergrad, I would love to go to some law school. I don't necessarily have a dream school in mind, but these are 3 that I've shown interest in and just seem really nice in general. So on the left side, we have the Notre Dame School of Law. On the top, we have NYU, and the bottom right, we have USC. And professions, this is what I was sort of talking about earlier with the background information. On the left side, of course, that's the United States Congress. Anything working with creating legislation sounds incredibly appealing to me. And I don't know if I don't necessarily want to be a politician, maybe a little bit too much pressure or public eye, but anything in that vein would be really nice. Then we see the UN logo. Working for the UN, maybe a little bit more far-fetched, but would certainly be really rewarding for me, I think, as they work in, peacekeeping, global economics, anything like that, which is right up my alley. And then we, of course, see a sort of general picture for a lawyer, because, the most expected path after law school is to become a lawyer, I guess. And that's something that's certainly in the back of my head, but not necessarily my first choice. And then on the right, that's just a general depiction for foreign relations, which I've said multiple times now is sort of my area of particular interest. And for our final slide here, we have just sort of what I'll be doing even outside of professional or academic. So on the left side, that first picture is of someone playing drums. I'm actually a drummer now. I've been playing drums for as long as I can remember. I think since I was 3. So keeping that in my life is definitely something that I look to do, whether it's gigging or even just playing on my own. It'll certainly be a part of my life. Then we see someone producing. My cousin and I actually do some producing now, and we have a great time doing it. And again, I think it expands my sort of musical tendencies and my musical mindset. So continuing to do that seems great. And then in the bottom here, we have just men's league soccer because again, especially with the World Cup right now, soccer is just in the front of my head. So I would love to keep playing. And then even in a sort of recreational league would be really fun, I think. And on the right side, maybe this is a product of my age, but I play lots of video games right now. Maybe too much, but that's okay. Um, and I assume that's something that I'm going to continue to do. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good look into my current path and my perspectives on the world now. Of course, throughout a college career, that can certainly change, but I think we got a pretty good look. So thank you very much.